Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everyone. Lots of us challenged from things in our life. We have some medical issues from time to time. It's all part of being a human. And a lot of times we gravitate to going to the doctor, getting more medication, which is just basically taking care of the symptoms. Side effects of medication as well. Imagine if you did something that was holistic, that is practiced for years, centuries. Ayurveda is what we're talking about here. A holistic approach to your challenges, especially digestive issues. Doctor, make sure I'm saying your name right. Harish Verma is with us today, and we're going to talk about it. Tell us about your organization, where you're from there in Canada.
Yes, thank you, Steve. And I am doctor, but in India we call Ayurvedic doctor as Vaidya. And here people don't understand the word Vaidya. So Vaidya means doctor. So I am a practicing Ayurvedic doctor of Ayurvedic medicine in Canada, in Toronto. I live in Toronto area, and my company name is Best Ayurveda Limited. And there we provide the consultation and the treatment for those patients who are not getting relief from the Western medication, particularly those who are suffering from autoimmune diseases.
What is Ayurveda? Some of us may have heard of it. You know, if you ask me to define it, I'm not 100% sure. I know it's a lifestyle, but I believe it is. But tell us.
Okay, so let me tell our viewers, Ayurveda is the oldest medical science in the world. It originated in India around 5,000 years ago, and it was documented at that time in a language called Sanskrit. And it was a fully developed science at that time, 5,000 years ago. There were departments like internal medicine, we call it Kaya Chikitsa. There was a department of surgery, we call it Shalya. And there was a department of ENT, we call it Shalakya. There is a department of pediatrics, we call it Kumar Bhritya. Department of obstetrics and gynecology, Prasuti Tantra. So all the medical departments, even today, they were taught medical science in Sanskrit language. So I think slowly, steadily, the modern scientists, they translated entire Sanskrit terminology into English and presented a new science to the world. Wow. But Ayurveda has a history of 5,000 years ago. And in Ayurveda, it is in practice even today. We in India, India and Sri Lanka, Ayurveda is a regulated medical profession, or there are proper regulatory bodies which control the regulation about education, regulation about practice of medicine. So it's a fully regulated medical system in India.
I had no idea Ayurveda goes back to India. I knew it was, loosely thousands of years. Didn't know it was at least 5,000. Amazing. What are some of the things that you can use it for to help people overcome challenges? We talked about digestive issues. That's one thing that you work with people on. Give us a little detail on that and some of the other things that it can help with.
Yeah, basically I mentioned there's a new category of diseases. We call it autoimmune diseases. Many people who are suffering from these kind of diseases, they know it. There are around 50 ailments, which are 50 to 60 ailments, which are considered to be autoimmune, like ulcerative colitis is a disease of large intestine, in which the ulcers are formed in the inner lining of colon, and patient used to pass a lot of blood in the stool, sort of a bloody diarrhea, and they feel urgent desire to go to toilet. These kind of symptoms in ulcerative colitis. So similar to ulcerative colitis, there is one disease called Crohn's disease. In Crohn's disease, there is again there are ulcers in the small intestine and large intestine. So both these diseases are called as autoimmune diseases. So let me explain you what is autoimmune. Autoimmune means when your immune system, means the white cells in your blood, they protect our body from the foreign bacteria, viruses, fungus. Whenever bacteria goes in the body, the white cells, they identify the bacteria and produce antibodies and kill that bacteria. But in autoimmune disease, these white cells, which are a protecting layer, they start damaging our body. Our immune system start damaging our body. That phenomena is called as autoimmune disease. In ulcerative colitis or in Crohn's disease, the white cells, they produce antibodies against the inner lining of colon and they damage the inner lining. So this is one a disease which is autoimmune, and there are other autoimmune diseases like multiple sclerosis. This is the disease of nervous system where the sheath of a nerve is being damaged by the antibodies. And similarly, psoriasis, which is a skin disease, and again it's an autoimmune disease. Vitiligo, where we can see the white spots on the skin. Again, it's an autoimmune disease. And there are lupus, there are many rheumatoid arthritis, there are many autoimmune diseases, and it's a big headache now. In present era, autoimmune diseases are a big headache for the society, even for not getting fully cured. That is the reason. And unfortunately, nowadays, the medicines available for autoimmune diseases, particularly biological drugs, they are very expensive.
Wow.
And you will be uh, astonished to listen. The treatment cost for 1 month for one patient is around $4,000 to $5,000 per month.
We're talking
This is
about traditional treatment, correct?
no. I'm talking about the Western medicine, the
Yes.
medical doctors, conventional treatment. The biological drugs, they are very expensive. They are beyond reach of common man. However, many insurance companies are covering this, that some organizations are providing some aid, but at the end, it's very expensive treatment, and many people cannot afford it. Anyway, but if you look at the results of those treatments, it's 50-50. You can't say it's 100% guaranteed treatment. And medical doctors who are listening to me, they will agree with me that whatever I am saying is very truthful, and patients are not getting fully cured. However, they are getting relief. That is very good. But if we are talking after spending so much money, they are not getting fully cured. So my objective of Steve appearing in your program is that we should tell people that there are some options available which are 5,000 years old. And I tested my formulation, which is mentioned in our old text in Sanskrit, and I tested it on many patients of ulcerative colitis while I was in India. And you know the number? I tested on 25,000 patients of ulcerative colitis who were diagnosed with colonoscopy, with biopsy, confirmed diagnosis, and those who were not responding to mainline allopathic drugs like mesalamine, steroids, or biological drugs, the patients who were not responding, I gave them this formulation, which is mainly derived from the natural products, particularly from the fruits and the vegetables and the herbs. And those patients, they responded very well. In India, there is a one fruit, we call it bale fruit. Common men use it mainly for digestive issues, and I found it very effective in ulcerative colitis. It's a wonderful medicine, and it's a very economical fruit. It's not, and grown all over India. This is such a wonderful thing, and I want that if the medical doctors or the researchers, if they are listening me, they should look into it. and we can develop some cost-effective treatment for those patients who are not responding to biological drugs or the steroids or mesalamine. Because in ulcerative colitis, normally if the patients are not responding to biological drugs or steroids, then the physicians, they recommend the patient, they refer the patient to surgery department for the removal of the colon. They remove the entire large intestine and put a plastic bag on the abdomen of the patient. So why don't we do some research and find out what is the active molecule which is mentioned in the text for the last 5,000 years, and it is in practice. And I want to draw attention of our researchers and of our medical experts, pharmaceutical companies, so that they can look into it, that some alternative is available, and patients should not be discouraged if they are not getting relief from mainline allopathic treatment.
Dr. Verma, why do you think that the mainstream population doesn't harness this power of Ayurvedic treatment? Is it because we're so used to here in the U.S. and also Canada that we're just used to going to the doctor, and the doctors, we trust the doctor. The doctor's going to give us a medicine. We're going to feel better. Obviously, we're just treating the symptom, not the root cause of it. Is it just conditioning over years?
Yeah, actually, in particularly, as I mentioned, I am working on this particular disease for the last many years. It's over now 30 years. So I feel the approach of the modern medical doctors to treat this disease is not complete, because they just think that we should suppress the immune system. And if the doctors are watching me, they will agree that this is not the sufficient approach. We can suppress the immune system temporarily, but ultimately, if we can normalize the distorted structures which are distorted by our immune system, when the immune system attack the inner lining or any other organ, even in case of multiple sclerosis or even in case of lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, wherever the structure is damaged, we need to repair those cells. Only then we can calm down the immune system. So there is answering your question, I think there is a difference of approach to the treatment. Our approach is a different approach, and modern medical doctors' approach is different. That is why there is a difference of opinion, and many doctors, sometimes they agree, many doctors they don't agree, because everybody has faith in their own system. So I have faith in Ayurveda, so I strongly recommend Ayurvedic medicines.
Can you take us through the journey of somebody you worked with? So they were dealing with this health challenge, what you did for them in the Ayurveda or Ayurvedic treatment, what changed their diet, whatever it might be, and what was the outcome?
Okay, so let me explain you. In Ayurveda, generally our treatment is composed of four parts. First, if any person is suffering from any chronic disease, generally chronic diseases are poorly addressed in modern medicine. Poorly addressed. Any chronic disease. If we talk about arthritis, for bronchial asthma, from even if we talk about colitis, heart problems, lungs problem, liver problem, you will see any chronic disease, they are poorly addressed in modern medicine. And now, as you asked, what is the benefit we give? I have seen in my practice, when we treat the patients who are suffering from any chronic disease with the Ayurvedic medicine, their treatment is almost they get the benefit for a long term, for a long time. We call it long term remission. I particularly I have seen in ulcerative colitis, I treated around 25,000 patients in last 30 years.
Wow.
Those who were diagnosed with modern medicine procedures called colonoscopy, biopsies, they were treated in my clinic in Delhi, and and we got successful treatment, successful results after our medication, and I sent many patients for reinvestigation after my treatment, and results were amazing. And even the gastroenterologists, they were amazed. They said to the patient that they never saw these kind of changes after any treatment. This is a
Wow.
wonderful method. And uh, I was going to tell you that in Ayurveda, we generally our treatment is composed of four parts. In first part, we detoxify the body. We cleanse the body from inside in any disease. Second part is we give particular specific treatment, specific drug or the medicine which is meant for that particular disease. Suppose if patient is having rheumatoid arthritis, we have medicine for rheumatoid arthritis. If patient is having lupus, patient is having vitiligo, psoriasis, ulcerative colitis, there are specific treatments available in our text. That is second part. Third, we strongly believe in dietary changes. We stress on the diet of the patient, and finally, we also advise lifestyle modifications. So, to every patient, we divide the treatment in four parts: detoxification, specific natural products, dietary regimen, and the lifestyle modification. And I believe and I have seen with the addition of all four, we get tremendous positive results in all diseases.
When we talk about the lifestyle changes, what does that entail? What do we, we've got diet, understand that. And I'm guessing, and I've also heard that that's a big part of Ayurveda. The lifestyle changes. What are we talking about here?
Lifestyle changes, even you have seen, even today, there are many diseases, they are labeled as lifestyle diseases. Say diabetes. Diabetes is a life when the patients they are lethargic, they have sedentary lifestyles, they don't exercise, and we push them for a change in lifestyle. That is one example. And similarly, all psychosomatic disorders where the stress is involved, unless and until we change the lifestyle, you cannot manage the stress. If patient is having stress from the work, from anything, stress from anything, we have to slightly change the lifestyle. Then only you will see the change. Otherwise, and yoga and meditation are proven for lifestyle modification. The world has seen the results of yoga and meditation, and they are part of Ayurveda, of course, because yoga was invented by the same researchers who were involved into Ayurveda, and yoga is also as old as Ayurveda, because in Ayurvedic text there is a description of yoga exercises and yoga postures and yoga uh, therapies, techniques, everything is mentioned in our text. So, yoga we incorporate in our treatment, particularly for lifestyle modification.
All of the things we're talking about, in my opinion, we should be doing anyway. The proper diet, yoga, change of lifestyle, obviously minimizing stress. We talk about digestion issues. I lived it. I had an ulcer about 7 years ago. Something flared up last autumn, about a year ago, and I knew it was stress, and it wasn't. The ulcer didn't come back, but I had some other digestion issues, and I used herbal medicine. Herbal medicine in 3 days. I was fantastic, and that was my true wake up to stop popping the pills, like over the counter meds and things like that. There's a reason 5,000 years later, doctor, we are talking about this today. If it didn't work, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It works,
Yes.
and it's the way it should be. How does somebody find you if they want to connect with you, learn a little bit more about what can be done for the challenges that they have? How do they find you?
Actually, I live in Toronto and my phone number is, you can display 416-804-1500, and my website is bestayurveda.ca, and we are going to start a Ayurveda college here. I just want to train many students about whatever I am doing, and I want to teach them so that we can spread this system. We can help those people who are having long long-term chronic diseases where they are not finding the solution, particularly autoimmune diseases. And fortunately, autoimmune diseases can be easily tackled with the Ayurvedic medicines or the supplements, which are safe and effective even for long-term use.
I find it so interesting in closing here that we're talking about this today. This evening, I'm meeting a friend. He used to be my boss back in the day. He, about 6-7 years ago, went to the doctor, a routine checkup. They identified an issue with his heart. They said, right away, you're going to the hospital. He had to have open heart surgery. Young gentleman, it was very invasive. The recovery was very much a challenge. Do you know what helped him recover? His secret to the recovery of all of us, you know what it was?
Yeah.
Yoga.
Yeah.
Yoga did it for him. And I'll be talking with him later today. Wonderful talking with you, Doctor. Thanks for being here and spreading the word about Ayurveda, and looking forward next time we get together.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Steve.
We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.